and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am all about trickle nets and more specifically on how to first introduce this to your horse, because a trickle net is a little bit more of a unique hay net. So this is the trickle net here. So I've actually got this for Lily, who is a 5-year-old 14-2 New Forest cross warm blood. And I think definitely because of that New Forest in it, she is so greedy. She absolutely inhales any type of hay you give her. It doesn't matter how much. If you give her more, give her less, she'll eat it just as quickly. So at the moment she's having a standard hay net with just the standard size holes, and I'm also double netting this to try and slow her down. And while this works to an extent, it isn't brilliant, and she still does eat very quickly. That is just part of her nature. So with a trickle net, it comes in this bag, which actually is so amazing. It's perfect if you are going to travel with it, because you could have one as a backup, as a spare, and keep it in the bag, or simply just to store them for if they do break them, but it's very, very unlikely that that will happen. So a trickle net is quite a unique net because it does have such small holes, and the reason for this is that it helps to encourage more natural feeding, and it actually helps to mimic grazing as well, because when your horse is actually in the field, especially on shorter grass, they do only take quite small mouthfuls. They don't take the massive mouthfuls of hay that they don't take the massive mouthfuls that they do of the hay. So while this is not only a very good way to slow them down, it also helps to make the hay last so much longer, as of course, like I said, they only get such small mouthfuls, so it does make longer as well. It also is a little bit more difficult for them to get out, but we'll get more into that in a little bit. And also because they're, again, small mouthfuls, they're not going to be dropping a huge amount on the floor, so there is definitely less waste and less to get actually mixed in with your bedding, which I know with my other horse it is so annoying when that happens because you waste so much hay. But using this, there should definitely be less wastage. So if we open the bag, this is actually a zip bag as well, which I personally love, because even if you don't want to get your hay nets in this, you could actually use it for so many different things, so it's definitely reusable. So as you can see, the net does come very folded up. It looks absolutely tiny, but this is the original net, so this fits in 8 kilograms of hay. So if we unfold it, so I know this may look a very, very odd shape at the moment, but that is simply because it does need to be used. That will help to stretch out all of these holes, because if you look at the moment, they're quite diagonal-like. So as they use, they will go more into the squares and the traditional look that you're used to. This also goes along with it feeling a bit stiff as well. Again, the more used, the more this will soften up, because it is all handmade as well. And instead of it being this more like oblong shape, it will go downwards, so it'll stretch it down like that. So again, it will look more like your traditional hay nets. Of course, it does still have the rope to tie with. This is in a beautiful tealy green colour, which I personally love. But like I said, this fits in 8 kilograms if you absolutely fill it. Of course, with these nets, you don't have to fill them right to the top. It's completely your choice how much you put in them. And of course, that weight is of dry hay. You can actually soak your hay in these, and because of the netting it is made from, it will last so much longer than a traditional hay net when it is soaked in water. It will not rot through. It's going to be so much stronger as well. And it also does make it even more perfect for the Lamanitics or the Cushing's ponies, where you do need to soak the hay. These are perfect because, again, it will slow them down eating it as well. So if you read on the very front of the bag, and this is also on the website, it tells you so much about the hay nets. So they are super strong, promote well-being, which means a happy mind, healthy gut, and ideal for weight management, because obviously you need your horse to have forage for as long as possible. And it can be used with any type of forage, so that is hay, haylage. If you feed your horse some straw as well alongside the hay, which is what I do, you can still use that in this net, and they can still get it out. Even though the holes do look really small, don't worry, they do know how to eat it. And of course, I'm going to show you some tips on how to introduce this first thing to your horse. So like I said, Lily has never ever had one of these nets. She has just had standard nets all of her life, or she's had a hay rack. So she may not know how to use this herself straight away, but with her, she is a very determined horse, so she is also very smart when she wants to be. So I don't feel she's going to have too much of a problem with this. So I'm going to take this down to my hay and start filling it, and then we can get on to the very first tip as well. So we're now down with my hay. If you hear any banging, it's purely just Lily because she knows I'm down here and she wants some hay. So please just ignore her, it's just a bad habit she has. So this is the hay net here. So I'm going to fill this probably with a good amount in, purely so she does have a good chance of trying to eat it. But my first tip is, if you are using a veil or any type and it comes up in like big clumpy bits like that, then make sure you break these up, because obviously with it being in a clump like that, it's not going to be as easy for your horse to break up themselves. So if you do this for them, it means all the longer bits are definitely going to stick out of the holes, making it a lot easier for them to grab, because obviously with the small nets and the small holes, they can't just shove their mouths in it and grab it like they can normally. Oh, at the minute I am actually just sort of sat on the floor because of my camera, but I will say with these nets, because it is a brand new one, it is so easy to open. With a double netted hay net, I'm sure you all know they are so fiddly to open. So again, this makes it so much quicker to fill hay net because you only need one. So I'm going to get started filling this now for Lily. So as you can see, I'm doing like I said and just breaking up those bigger parts because I want it to be easy for Lily to get out of. So it looks sort of like that with some in it. Needs a bit more in it yet. So here we have the full hay net. As you can see, it's very open, so even if you pull it, it's not really going to get tight because this is a new hay net. So when it's open like that, you firstly want to gather it all together at the very top, so it looks a little like that. As you see, not completely closed at the top, so it's very easy for your horse to just put the head in the top. So all you need to do is find the end of the loop and then find where there is a bit of spare mesh, a hole at the other side, which should be on the opposite to where you've just grabbed that from, and then pull that through. So as you can see, that is now closed off at this top of the hay net, and the knot is actually still against it because of the small holes in this net. You can't thread the knot through, which is what I would normally do, but it's absolutely fine. You still have plenty of string to tie up with. As you can see, these holes are still very, very tiny. They are not quite square. So to really help your horse, and this is a tip number 2, you want to sort of get your finger in there and just pull out some loose bits so it's a bit like that. Do this all around the net, especially the first couple of times they use it. Just help to encourage them to actually go for the net and not just leave it, because obviously it is a lot harder work for them. So I'm just going to do that all around it. You may find this easiest to do once it's tied up. It's purely your choice. I'm just doing it now because I'm already down here. So just put your fingers through and just pull. Doesn't need to be much, just that little bit, just to encourage them to have a go at it. And it's not actually as difficult as it may look to them at first. Obviously this will be so much easier once the net has been used a little bit and these have stretched out slightly like that. As you can see, there's a massive difference between that and that. So I'm just pulling them out. I'll obviously do this on both sides, and just to help encourage her, because she's not going to know how to use this. Well, I don't think so. It is Lily, so it's quite a big possibility that she's just going to grab it and pull and hope for the best. So obviously that is our first net all made, so let's take this up to Lily and see exactly what she thinks of it. So while Lily will be having this normally in her stable, we also do tie them up outside, as you can see here. This is just easier to give them a hay net when they need it, so I'm going to tie this up here and just show you how to do it, because you do tie these up a little differently to a normal net. So if I flip that round, you also then need to find where the spine is. So that is here. As you can see, it goes to the diagonal. This will go straight to one side the more you use the net. But then loop it through, catching a few of the netting bit as well, so that it's the strongest part. This is a little fiddly to do while it is a new net, but it soon loosens up. And then just tie it as you would do normally. So there we go. That is one net all tied up, so let's see what Lily thinks of it. So as you can see, because I pulled out those longer bits for Lily, she can actually get in there and actually eat the hay net out. So I will do this the first couple of times with her, just in a few places, purely just so she can actually get into the hay net and learn about it herself and see how to get it. But as you can see there, she's pulling out the long bits that I did, and it won't be long before she actually figures out herself how to do it. But just get close to her. You can see she's using her lips to sort of try and pull it out. So this does take a little bit of practice for them for how to get it out. As you see, she's shoving it around to try and find out where those longer bits are. but she's actually still getting some out herself. But she will definitely figure this out. How long, I don't know, but I'm going to put this in overnight for her. And there she is. Going to put this in overnight alongside one of her normal nets. So just in case she can't figure it out, she still has something to eat, which is just a really good way to introduce it to them. So they can still have the hay, but also have this net that has probably about half of the normal hay and output. So it would be a bit more than this one. And like I said, still alongside her normal net, which is double netted. And then I will also get back to you in the morning. See, she's been trying to get it easy now off the floor. But I will get back to you in the morning and show you whether this net is empty, full, if she's managed to do it or not. I'll also say that today they are actually going into a new field. So they'll probably come in a bit pigged out, but like I said, she loves her hay anyway. So no doubt she will still come in and eat all this, especially overnight, because that is when they are in for. As you're watching now, she's trying to figure it out. You can see she's quite a smart pony when she wants to be and when she wants to use it with you. But obviously this net will be so much easier to use once it's been used for a little bit. Obviously if you want to break it in even quicker, you can actually put some soaked hay in it and then leave it up somewhere high to drain. So the weight of that wet hay will actually expand and stretch out the hay net for you. So that is another way if you really want to do that and use it a lot quicker. I may possibly do that for Lily. I'm going to see how she goes overnight with it. But like I said, she's going to have this overnight alongside her normal one. So I will get back to you in the morning and show you exactly what she was eating and how I think she has found it. Obviously, when I put it in tonight, I will also keep an eye on her just to make sure she's not struggling with it or getting too frustrated. But like I said, she loves the food and she's determined to try and figure that out. She loves things like that. It really helps to make her use her brain as well, which is so good, especially when they are in for quite a while. If Sora then, she actually tries to just grab it and bite it all out. That will not work with these nets. Yep, see, she shook it and not a lot came out. She's got to figure out how to use her lips and her teeth to actually get them. But I think that is enough talking for me today. So I will, like I said, get back to you in the morning with how she's gone and overnight with it. All night. We've literally just put Lily out. She's been with the net obviously all night long alongside her normal one, which you can see there, which is a double netted one. And then obviously that is the trickle net. So if we go up, you can see that obviously her normal net is completely empty and this is a double netted one. And then this is the trickle net. So as you can see, she's got literally the tiniest amount at the very bottom. This could be either she got full or just that because it's at the bottom, the holes are a little smaller. They've not quite stretched. But I'm super pleased with that. She doesn't seem to have put any holes in it or anything, which I didn't think she would do as it is super strong. But yes, I'm very pleased with it, and she's obviously managed to eat all of the hay apart from this very small amount at the very bottom. And obviously because I did give her her normal net as well, she still had the hay if she couldn't get it out, but obviously she has managed that. So I am very, very pleased. So I'm going to take both of these nets down, refill them both, and then put them back up. And also here we have a Bonnie who has come to see all about the net, just having a nosy, as she actually has access to the yard, but she looks a little grumpy because she knows there is still just a little bit of hay in there and she wants it. But there she is, just taking it all in and looking cute as always. Once she's been using this net for a whole week, I will get back to you and tell you my full thoughts, what I think Lily thinks of it, has she struggled or not. I mean, with Lily it's food, so I really, really doubt it. But so far, very impressed. So it is now a week later. We've been using the trickle net here for over a week, and I'm actually super impressed with it, and it worked really well for Lily as well. So it's definitely been slowing her down eating. She's not been able to grab it as easily, even though she was having it double netted. With these teeny tiny little holes, it means she can only get literally like a few little bits out of it at a time. So this means that it's definitely lasting her longer overnight as well. She doesn't seem to have struggled too much with it. As you can see, there's not any holes or anything like that in it. I honestly wasn't expecting that either because it is such a strong net. This netting is just super strong. It still feels a little tough even though we have been using it for a week, but Trickle Net do say that it does take quite a while to break in, so that is not a surprise at all. but I am super happy with it. So I actually think I'm going to try this with Star next, because even though she doesn't eat as quickly as Lilly, she wastes such a lot of hay because she gets a mouthful and then goes to the door and has a look around. And obviously when she's passing backwards and forwards with big mouthfuls, she wastes so much on the floor, and it is just so annoying at times. So I think this may work for her as well, but I'm going to try this one first before I buy another, just in case, because then I'm not wasting it. But then again, I might buy another for Lilly, because obviously it makes it easier if you have more than one net. So I will show you Lilly in a second. Her stable is actually just in the sun, because it's just going that way at the minute. So you can't really see her all that much, but she looks so red because she's bright bay. She just has a sun net, she looks gorgeous. But as you can see, the net is just here at the moment. But I really hope this has helped you if you are a bit undecided about getting one, or you just bought one and you're not sure how to introduce it to your horse. I hope this has given you quite a few tips and tricks on how to best introduce this to your horse. I think the most important one is just to introduce it slowly, still give them their normal net alongside it, and also just pull out pieces like that so they've got something they can easily grab when they need to. Just helps to stop them getting really frustrated with it, especially if they do already have one of their normal nets alongside. With Lilly, over this past week, I've been slowly taking less hay out of her normal net and putting it more into the Trickle Net. So now she has the majority in this, and I'm honestly going to keep using this because it is just so good. And as you can see, it is starting to stretch as well. The holes are going more square. Before they were more diagonal and diamond shape, they are slowly getting more square, which is exactly what Trickle Net do say this will happen, which is just perfect. It's starting to look a little bit more like a normal net, because if you remember when I opened it, it was a bit of an odd shape. But if you would like to purchase one for yourself, then there will be a link in the description bar below. You can simply click that, it'll take you directly to the website. And this is the Trickle Net original I've been using. They do also do a smaller net, so if you don't want the 8 kilogram, which is what this one has, they do a smaller version as well. And Trickle Net also do them for bales and everything like that. They do such a huge range. So they do for small bales, large bales like what I have here, the big round ones. So that is perfect if you're putting them into the field. It means that they can't just grab loads of it and waste loads of it either. And they also do softy nets as well, which are made from slightly different netting to these, but they're a little bit softer. But I don't see the problem with these. Like I said, I will leave a link to the Trickle Net website in the description bar below. So you can either purchase one for yourself, or you can just read their tips and tricks and also see a lot more photos as well, because these nets are just a game changer. They are absolutely amazing if your horse is super greedy or they do like to waste their hay. It is just amazing for that, and I am so glad I've had the chance to try one. I'm definitely converted from a regular hay net to the Trickle Net here. So like I said, I really hope you found this video helpful, and if you have a Trickle Net or you're thinking of buying one, please let me know in the comments below. And I will end it with just showing you Lilly as well, because of course everyone wants a horse in a horsey content video. Here's Lilly with the nets. As you can see, I have tied it up just outside and she's pulling it, but as you can see, she gets out the hay really easily. Of course she's going for the very top bit, but that is just her. But as you can see from that side, I pulled out loads of little bits, and that's what I keep doing, but she finds it really easy. As you can see, she's thoroughly enjoying her hay, and the holes have got a lot bigger. But obviously normally I'd have this net inside. It's purely because the light is so much better out here, and she looks absolutely gorgeous being so red, and she can get the hay out easily, so I am super impressed with this. But here is just a bit more munching.